Do you find that there's a big gap between the reality that you want and your actual reality? Do you find that there's a big difference between the life that you once imagined once when you were 13 years old and you said, you know what, when I'm an adult, I'm going to have that life. That's going to be my life, and the life that you actually have, right? Do you feel like you're working towards things, but things are not quite materializing within your reality, within your life, what you want to create? And if that is the case, stick around because I'm going to tell you exactly why that is the case for you, how that was the case for me once, but how it's no longer, and I'll teach you exactly how I did it. So let's get straight into it. The number one thing that you have to realize is that if you're not exactly where you want to be, is because you took the wrong path. Now, Liam, that seems kind of obvious, like it's kind of like stupid advice. Allow me to explain. What do I mean by the wrong path? You see, if you're pretty much in a place where you're not happy with where you are now, you're most likely getting average results. If you're getting average results, it's because you took the average route. You took the average path, the path that everybody took. So you're where everybody else is. So that's what I mean by you took the wrong path. So let's dig a little bit deeper into that. The reality is that if you want to create the reality that you want or that dream vision that you have in your mind, most likely that's going to be an above average vision that you have. Nobody dreams up an average life. Everybody dreams up some type of life that exploits and expands their full potential and that uses all their capabilities, and a reality where they are, where someone is their ideal self, not their average self. But the issue is that you want to get to an above average reality, an above average place, but you're taking average routes. You're taking the average path. And in order to get exceptional results in your life in whatever area, spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, in terms of your relationships, in terms of your mastery of technology, in terms of the leisure and the 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 amazing experiences that you want to have in life, your ability to give and help others, you have to take ulterior routes. You have to take independent route. You have to take the route less traveled, the road less traveled. And in order for you to do that, you have to be brave because the road less traveled, the paths, the routes that actually get you exceptional results are not crowded. They're not the typical routes that everybody takes. They're not the typical actions that everybody does. And guess what? Since not everybody's doing them, these routes, these paths, they're lonely, just like this one. Nobody's here. It's just me. Why? Is the road less traveled? Is the alternative path? And it's a little bit lonely. There's nobody here. It's just me. But guess what? Where I'm going is going to lead me to a path that not everybody goes to. The road less traveled, the destination less traveled, above average results. Look, you don't want your life to be the average life. You'll have a lot of company there because everybody, that's definition of average. You'll have a lot of company there, but it won't be very fun. You have a lot of company, but you'll have a lot of problems. So you have to take the ulterior path, the ulterior road, the road less traveled. In order for you to do that, you have to be comfortable being alone sometimes. Not too much. I don't promote some loneliness thing where you're like a lone wolf. I think the best things in life are done in teams. But you do have to take the road less traveled. In order for you to do that, you have to be brave. You have to have vision. You have to know that wherever you're going, you're making a sacrifice so you can achieve your ideal life, so you can become your ideal self, so you can create your ideal reality. But you have to have the vision in order to do that. And you have to take the road less traveled. Now, let's ground some of these concepts and let's bring them down to reality a little bit. Let's make them congruent and practical. Let's look at some examples of the ulterior path, the road less traveled. Let's look at in terms of nutrition. The road most traveled is people eat processed foods. They eat things like junk food, McDonald's, maybe they eat bread almost every single day, or they eat chips, or they don't really plan their meals. They just eat whatever is available. They don't really plan their nutrition. The food is not good. So the average result is that their body is not too good. Their health is not too good. Their energy, their ability to think and to contemplate, to digest bigger ideas. Their brain is just like mush because they're eating garbage. While the road less traveled, eating non-processed foods, and this is a bit of a silly example, but it's very practical. Less processed foods, healthier foods. Yeah, they're not as palatable, stimulating. They're not going to make you go crazy when you eat them, but you're not addicted to food, right? Your brain is working properly because you have the proper nutrients. You're sleeping better. You have the energy to just talk about whatever you want to talk about, or think about whatever you want to think about, or create whatever you want to create. You have the energy, the power, the will. Why? Because you're eating foods that enable you to do that. Let's look at some other examples. What's the road most traveled when it comes to money? Most people just get a job, which is completely okay. I've been in situations where I had to get a job. When I graduated college, it was a tough time for me. I was trying to get a job in a medical device company, since that's what I wanted to do. But as a medical device sales rep, but I couldn't find a job. It was so hard without experience. What did I have to do right out of college? I had to drive Uber or something until I could find a job because I had to pay for things. So you need a job. But what I'm saying is, what do most people think about when they think about making money? They just think, get a job and then work for 40 years of your life. And that's the rest of your life. You got to have a boss. You got to clock in, do your 40 hours, and that's your life. Just working for money. What's the alternative path? Oh, by the way, in that other path, you work for money, so then you can spend all the hours that you put so you can get a check, and then you use that check that you got from a company, and what do you do with that check? You give it to another company. Now you give it to Apple so you can get the new iPhone. Now you can give it to Nike so you can get the new Nikes. Now you give it to, I don't know, Mercedes or something. So you give 40 hours of your life to a company to get a check, and then you get that check and you give it to another company. That's the average path of how people go about money. And then they're stuck in this hamster wheel and they ask themselves why. Now, what's the alternative path? Let's say you engage in a career that you like and you're learning skills. That's a great start. Many of you are there, and that's where I started, and that's a good path. But let's say you have a greater vision. You know that if you continue in the average path, you're going to get average results, even if that is a career. So what do? You take all the skills, industry knowledge, expertise, perhaps even connections that you gained in your first job or career, and you start figuring out ways that you can monetize that and make money with it. You can start your own business online, that you can get your own clients so you can be financially independent. That's what I did, right? And it's been one of the best decisions of my life in two of the businesses that I run. Now I don't have to respond to anybody. I do what I want when I want to. You understand? So now, instead of me giving my money to another company so that I can stay in this loop of insanity, I take my money and I invest it. Sure, I have leisure. So sure, I have pleasures, but I invest my money. And now I have financial independence. Now that's harder. That takes discipline. That takes sacrifice. That's not as exciting as eating the McDonald's or just wasting your money or just, maybe grasping to the security of a job you don't like. Is the alternative path, is the lonely path in a way. But it enables you to create an exceptional life. You get the point. So let's look at one last example. let's say in the area of uh, social life or social relationships. The traditional path is that you meet some friends by kind of accident, no design, no purpose. Your friends or your social circle is just the people that you met in high school or college, or you got a job somewhere, so then you met some people there, and your friends are just the people that happen. This is what I call accidental friends or reactive friends. These are the people that you're just trying to figure out your life, and they just happen to be somewhere, and then whether school or your job, and then that's your friends. That's the traditional path. Versus, you ask yourself, who the hell do I want to surround myself with? And who do I not want to surround myself with? What is my ideal friend profile, my IFP? Right? Who are those people? Now, where are they? Where are they gathering? Where are they meeting? And then you strategically go there. You learn how to be a pleasant person, so you know how to influence, how to make friends and influence people. And you make your friends, not by accident, but by design. But here's the thing, nobody does that. That's the alternative path. But what is the end result? The end result is that you have exceptional friends that completely match your values. Not completely, but that are well aligned with your values, and that are most likely to contribute to your goals, to help you create your reality and help you achieve your ideal life. But that's lonely. You see, again, there's always a period of sacrifice, a period of loneliness. I call it traversing the desert, that you have to engage in by yourself. You have to take the alternative path, and the alternative path is not always easy. It's not always easy, but it's doable. It's not the most difficult thing in the world. We're not doing brain surgery here. But it does take some effort. It does take some sacrifice. It does take some strategy for you to be able to create the reality that you want, create the life that you want. But if that vision that we spoke about earlier, that perhaps you're not there yet, if you haven't reached that vision, right, but you want to, it's something that is near and dear to your heart, something that you absolutely want to do, and it is worth the sacrifice, then I invite you on the journey. I invite you to make the sacrifices. I invite you to take the road less traveled, to take the alternative path, so that you can get a step closer to where you want to be. Now, again, this isn't always easy, but I promise you, somebody that has done it myself in many areas of my life, I'm not perfect, I'm a work in progress. But many of the visions and desires that I have for my life, they're coming to fruition. And that's because I implement many of the concepts I talk about on this channel. Strategic thinking, systems thinking, sacrifice, taking the road less traveled. And if you do so, I guarantee you'll get a step closer to where you want to be. It doesn't happen overnight. Great things take time. Think of a meal. Think of a cheap meal. I don't know. Think of a Hot Pocket that you just put in the microwave or something. Look, that's going to be ready in a minute. You put the Hot Pocket, you stick it out of the fridge, you stick it in the microwave, you stick on a minute on there, and you stick it in your mouth. But guess what? That Hot Pocket is going to be, first of all, it's not going to taste that good. It's going to be soggy because you made it in a minute in a microwave. And the chemicals that are in that thing, soybean oil, fructose syrup, a high amount of sodium, preservatives, everything that's terrific for your body, that Hot Pocket will have. But it was quick and easy. It was quick and dirty. Right? Now take on the other side, a really healthy meal. Let's say you're going to make brown rice with some lean chicken and some vegetables for protein, and you're going to have a protein shake with it. That takes a little bit more time to prepare. Takes a little bit of more foresight, strategy for you to actually put that meal together. It's going to take a little bit longer, but guess what? It's worth it. And things that are worth your energy, worth your time, worth your life are going to be, they're going to take a little bit longer. To get the results that you want to see in your life, to create that reality, is going to take some time. Great things don't happen overnight. But if you start today, you'll be a day closer than if you start tomorrow. So start as soon as possible. Start taking action. And I'll see you there.